Greetings and welcome to episode number 4 of the Z-Hack and Witness Show. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for the love that you've been showing us. Episodes 1 through 3. You guys have been making the numbers climb and climb on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So first of all, we just want to say thank you so much for showing us the love and support. And you guys are enjoying it. We're enjoying it. It's not going to stop anytime soon. It feels good to be back. It's been a little bit longer since we've recorded this episode, but we're back, ready to get into it, and a lot of juicy topics to talk about this week. So Witness, how are you doing, man, just to start things off?
Doing good. Yeah, excited to be back. Had a little bit of a gap, like you mentioned, just with kind of 4th of July and all the stuff that was going on. I know both of us were kind of busy with some stuff over the last week, so apologies for the duration of time between each episode, but we're back. We're ready to get it rolling. As far as week goes, I mean, kind of just work and, the little bit of gaming. Pretty much the same deal, a little bit of League. I know I played a little bit of Warzone with you this past week, so that was always good. You hit that nasty smoke gulag clip with the HDR, so that was pretty nice. But other than that, yeah, just a little gaming. Got baby's room all finished up yesterday, actually, so everything's put up on the walls, all the furniture's built, everything's ready to go. So about 2 weeks till she's here, so getting excited for that.
Let's go. There's nothing better than that. What IKEA told you it'd take like 2 hours max to build a couple things, and then you spent like 4 days on it because it just doesn't work that way.
All weekend, man. It's just, it was a whole day process, and then yesterday putting up, hanging everything took a little while too, but it was always it's always good to see everything come together, and I think the room turned out pretty good, so we're happy about it.
I know you guys bought the same dresser that Meg and I have, and when we went to go build that thing, we bought it from IKEA, and then we were going to wait to build it a couple days because we already had a dresser, but just had to transfer everything over. Right. And then it's like 11 or 11:30 p.m., and Meg just goes, let's try and build it. Let's build it tonight. And I was just like...
Last words.
Do you know how IKEA works? And then we're up until like 3 a.m. grinding. I'm hammering myself in the finger and jamming and pinching stuff. But lo and behold, we figured it out and got it done. So it's always a journey going through IKEA furniture. So that's an experience in and of itself. So I'm proud of you for getting through all that handyman witness on the job.
Yeah, respect it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, anything revolutionary for you in gaming this week, or anything you want to touch on real quick before we get going?
I think I'm the king of the HDR and the gulag. I've hit like 3 clips with it this week. I hit a couple like no scope snaps, and then the one through the smoke was just absolutely ridiculous that I had. It was even 10 times better, and it made the clip perfect because it was me, you, a duck on quack, and Wacky. Yeah. So it's like you got your squad together, and you guys were all dead, and I was the only one left in gulag, and it's all up to me to keep everyone alive. And then I just hit a blind shot quick scope with the HDR, and all the reactions is what actually makes the clip.
Yeah, that was great. And that was the game that we got a jailbreak, so we all came back, and I don't think we won, but I think we got like top 5 or something after you hit that clip to keep us alive in the game. So
yeah, we had the momentum going for a little bit, grinding it out, but it's all good.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff that we want to get into, obviously being gone for about 8 or 9 days here since our last episode, so a lot of topics we kind of decided to sift through and decide what we wanted to hit on, but obviously the biggest one that kind of took the gaming world by storm about 9-10 days ago was the Dr. Disrespect sudden ban on Twitch. Another one almost similar to Mixer in a way, where it just kind of came out of nowhere, like no really premonitions about it before. All of a sudden, it was just Slasher reporting that Dr. Disrespect's been perma-banned on Twitch, and then all the speculation that kind of spiraled from there. So what do you got to say about the Dr. Disrespect ban?
I mean, I guess initial reactions of that was, first of all, kind of just like, you did a double take, and I was like, wait, what? He was just streaming like earlier that day. It happened on June 26th. And then that news comes out later that day or evening or something like that. And my first thing was like, okay, let me try and go to Deserto or look at Slasher's page to see what these news outlets within esports who are credible have said and if there's anything to the story. And there was nothing there. So then you just get into all the gossip and tweets and speculations that everyone kind of makes up scenarios. And I looked through all those and it was like, man, there are some accusations that are really, really
Right.
bad for the doc.
Right.
And there's also some things that would be really, really cool if they happen. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the most wild thing about it is all of his friends and other gamers, like they seem to be at least in the dark on it.
Right.
Like
Just like everyone
Courage,
else.
Ninja, Tim the Tap Man, they all reacted kind of on their own streams and they were like, listen, he's got to figure it out. Twitch hasn't made a statement yet. He hasn't made a statement yet. And since then, they both have made statements. So kind
But
of,
really haven't. Like they're
yeah, it's just kind of black and white, like a total gray area. And they basically just said, looking into the situation, what was happened, I think, to read what Twitch said, I think they said that he acted in a violation of community guidelines or terms of services.
right. Which
So
is very
whatever that
broad.
means.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it makes absolutely no sense. And then Doc tweeted, he said, Champions Club, Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all the support during this difficult time. Dr. Disrespect.
Right.
So it's nobody knows anything that has happened, and the accusations have been anywhere from as far as when he cheated or was whatever he did when he was at TwitchCon or whatever
Right.
event he was at,
Right.
when he cheated on his wife, and then people have said that there's something along the lines of he cheated on her and then there was like a non-disclosure agreement with the streamer or
Yeah.
other personality who he cheated with, which to me makes no sense because
That's all
like
personal life stuff, so I
that's
feel like yeah.
that's personal life stuff in my opinion. Like, that's you're kind of a POS and if you do something like that. But at the end of the day, I digress. And it's just that though, I don't think is, you know,
Yeah.
means to get you permabanned not only off Twitch, but who was it? Shannon Z Killer said that he's been banned from like every platform. Like it's not just Twitch, but every platform. So for that to happen, it would have to be something extremely serious. So there's
Yeah.
that side of the story or the other side of the story. And like the rumors that are cool is like him, Ninja, and Shroud are going to go start their own streaming platform. But the initial
Yeah.
reactions, I wanted to get all the facts in line, but now, almost 2 weeks later, there are no facts. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's hard to really make a definitive opinion about it because it's something where there isn't a lot of information available that is actually factually based. It's all the speculation, like we've been saying. So, I would agree. I mean, I was a person that I found him several years ago and have enjoyed watching his streams over the years. And it's something to where I hope all the other kind of negative connotation accusations aren't true. I mean, I hope that's not what's going on. One of the big things I heard is that along the lines of him potentially the rumor of him and Ninja or Shroud or whoever starting their own streaming platform or being backed by some other big company as far as a new streaming platform, is that he was caught or found out to be soliciting other Twitch partners, informing them of the potential for this opportunity, and that is what resulted in his permaban on Twitch. It was a breach of his contract and whatever extent of the legality of the words, because he's soliciting current Twitch partners to leave this platform, take their content, and move to a new platform that either he's launching or he's helping to launch or something along those lines. So, that was the other reason that I heard that I feel personally more inclined to lean towards that way, that if he's, going about something like that, that would be more the reason. It's just really hard for me to understand, though, because, he for the longest time has branded himself as the face of Twitch, Twitch Doc TV.
Right.
That's one of his biggest, selling points of his stream, and, in the many ways that he has it, with his production value. But, it's just hard for me to feel like he found it more valuable to leave Twitch and start a new streaming platform, or at least even entertain the idea of another platform saying, hey, dollars and cents, we'll give you this to come over here and blah, 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 blah. I mean, who knows? Maybe he finally saw, quote unquote, the light between what Ninja and Shroud did, what people have done going to YouTube, the couple big names that have gone over to Facebook, and it's, maybe he decided, hey, I have this huge following that will probably travel with me wherever I decide to go. So maybe it's my turn to, get some money and go somewhere else. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those situations that I'm still surprised that 10 days later we don't have any concrete details about anything. So I think that goes to show that there's definitely something serious going on. Who knows what side of the coin it is, but it's something that it's hard to really have a great opinion about it and not just speculate like the rest of the world, because there's nothing you can know without it either coming from Twitch or from Doc, and both their statements were just very broad, no detail statements, and that was like, I think both issued the statements either the next day or the day after the ban. So, it's been almost a week now of quote unquote radio silence from the big parties involved. So who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it's interesting. I hope we find out something soon. I've seen a lot of, how the world works now of just, it's been forgotten since it's been 7 days and other crazy stuff's been going on in the world. I saw a post the other day of like the whole meme of like, don't let such and such distract you from the fact that we still don't know why Dr. Disrespect isn't streaming. So, yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see. I have no idea where it's going to go, but I hope it's nothing bad, and I hope he's back streaming soon, because I definitely love Doc streams.
Those are the two challenges that I have with everything, though, is first of all, it's been close to 2 weeks since all this has happened, and there hasn't been any announcement from either end. So that's what makes me lean towards the more serious side. And also in the talks of him sort of joining or being in cahoots to create another streaming platform, he had just recently signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Twitch. So I know he has made plenty of money off his brand, where easily he could have signed that paper with Twitch, and then a month later Ninja and Shroud came to him and said, yo, like, what if we did this? What if we did that? And we made our own thing. And he could say, yeah, you know what? I have enough money to buy out of my Twitch contract, or if something happens, I can pay for the problem there to start this new thing and make it be the biggest and the best thing that happens.
Well, even using that as leverage potentially with whatever other company that wants him to come over. It's like, he could be like, hey, I'm happy where I'm at. I just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Twitch to stay here and stream for the foreseeable future. Why should I leave and come to you guys? Sell me. And maybe they did. I think another big point that some of me and my buddies had talked about too was that if it is anything along the lines of kind of negative type of behavior, or even something as far as criminal behavior, because there were rumors of that, I think it's something where in the public world of that, there would be an arrest report or a mugshot or something like that, to where, I don't think that could be hidden, because that is public information. Any arrest report done by a city police department or anything like that is public information. So it's like, the whole TMZs of the world and everything like that, someone would have gotten wind of it if it was actually something criminal. So that's why I think it's like, it's either something, I don't understand how, if it's something personal life related, even if it was with another Twitch partner or something like that, that whole rumor, how that could be bannable as far as Twitch is concerned. So I like I said, I lean towards the whole, he was doing something as far as trying to reach out to other types of platforms, and they just shut him down. Even if maybe he wasn't contracted with anything else, I think they just cut him off and were like, you know what? That was a breach. Even how much money and everything you bring in for us that went over the line, you're done. That's kind of where I think it's at.
At the end of the day, we're not trying to throw dirt on Dr. Disrespect's name, especially with us not knowing any of the details yet. And I mean, you and I both, and so many other people, have looked up to him and gone to his content, and have been excited to watch his stream back in the H1Z1 days and even through today, to see he is the entertainment factor. I want to go watch Dr. Disrespect to laugh and brighten up my day. So before anything comes out, we don't have any facts. We don't want to formulate our own opinions, and we're not throwing dirt on his name,
Yeah.
trashing him by any means.
We're
So
just
we
speculating
hope
like the rest
that,
of the world.
yeah, I mean, we're just talking about it. We're giving our ideas, our opinions of thoughts that things possibly could be that have happened, or what everything sort of leading up to this situation could have happened to get him banned from Twitch, as well as possibly other platforms. And the only other thing that I have to say is the last rumor that I heard, and this one is kind of more towards the federal offense, and it's kind of extremely scary for the ramifications and punishment that could come from it, is that Dr. Disrespect doesn't actually have a medical license. So that, he's not an actual doctor, so he's impersonating a doctor.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
that's the final take that we have.
Impersonation. Yeah, arrest him for that, man. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully some more stuff comes out in the next week or so. I can't imagine there's going to be this much more silence for that long. I mean, Doc wants to stay relevant, I'm sure, in however he's going to continue his career. So I can't imagine there's going to be much more silence on this subject for another, couple weeks. I would be shocked if we don't hear anything else. But who knows? Maybe if it's something really big going on and legality stuff's going to take a while and they can't say anything. So, we'll see what goes from there. But I mean, another big announcement as far as just online world and everything that has been going on, that's an issue for a lot of leagues around the world. But one in particular that we follow, obviously, because of Call of Duty, is the CDL announced today, actually, or yesterday, that the Call of Duty Champs, the biggest tournament of the year every year for Call of Duty, is going to be held online this year. So there will be no LAN environment. Every competition, every tournament and match will be held online. Players will be playing respectively from their own homes, if they're quarantining and playing at their team centers, whatever they're doing. But, a lot of outrage and differing opinions have come out about it. I know a lot of big players, as far as pros, have spoken their thoughts about it. A lot of COD players aren't very shy about sharing their opinions when it comes to anything going on with the league. So, Champs Online, kind of a bummer.
I think, yeah, there's been a lot of backlash from a ton of different players, but I think that they need to understand where the decision had come from. And I know that the CDL itself, all the teams, and then upper management, people from Esports Engine and the places that are putting these events together and who would be in charge of them, if they were LAN events, they had multiple discussions and long discussions discussing the ramifications, the positives and negatives. And I think at the end of the day, the negatives just far outweigh the positives. And some of these younger Call of Duty players who may be, I mean, when they're 18, they're eligible to play. So 18, 19, early 20s, they may say, it's a $3 million prize pool tournament. If I get sick, I get sick. And they're not understanding COVID is obviously the reason that they're not having it as a LAN tournament in that environment. They're not understanding the possible consequences with everybody else involved, because you have all the teams there, the coaches, but you also have the crews. And if this is happening, every single player, coach, team member, and then most of the crew, they're out of Columbus, is where Esports Engine is. So depending on where they would have decided to hold the LAN event, everyone would have to travel from their respective states into this singular spot and bring all of their interaction from, they went to a grocery store in Texas, they went to a restaurant in Florida, and they all come together, and they could bring it there, be asymptomatic and pass it along. And then it would just be a complete nightmare. And you have to think about the player safety and the staff safety, I think, is the most important out of everything. But I know at the end of the day, it's an alternative to competition, because they have the luxury of video games for the longest time have been an online source, and you play video games online. But at the same time, a major championship tournament, and one that has so much money involved in it in prize pools, that could be decided by ping, and one team having a higher ping than the other, and that's where the advantage comes from. It's almost like, I don't even know if you want to have the event and is COD Champs from Modern Warfare. Will it even be counted in the history books? Like, can it be counted?
Yeah, that's the biggest point a lot of pros are taking. And, even before this, just with all of the home series events that have been going on throughout the year, are these tournament wins really championship wins? Are they counting? Are they valid? So I know a lot of people have already taken that opinion and, have pretty much said we're putting an asterisk on the entire season anyways. Because not only have we had to play online the entire year, but the game itself is very poor as far as a competitive standpoint between gun tuning and spawns and all that stuff. That's been a huge complaint all year anyways.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I saw several different opinions, on Twitter over the last few days. Obviously Slasher, not the news outlet, but the God AR player, was sharing his thoughts and got into it with several different personalities in the CDL. Nameless being one that I saw a big interaction with. And just saying postpone the event, don't have the event. Pretty much kind of what you were saying is just these server based games and having teams, all their players are living pretty much at their own home areas right now. So it's even though it's the Chicago Huntsmen, 4 of them live in Texas, and I believe the other one lives in California. So it's you have that. You have the Florida guys, most of them are also around the area of, either Florida or Texas. So it's
They have Florida has two in Florida, 2 in Chicago, and then someone is in the Tri-City area
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's just every team has different locations, so it's there's no one server that makes everyone happy, and it's going to be an issue because, is it really, like you said, is it a valid game? Is it a fair game? On LAN, which is, a local-based game for anyone that's not familiar with that term, it's something where everyone is physically at the same location playing on hardwired console connections. So there is no internet-based connection, so there's no delay in the connection to the game's server itself. So everyone's on an even playing field. It comes down to talent, communication, gun skill, map awareness, all that. Same attributes apply online, but you have that factor of, I see you and you see me, but whoever has the better server response time, when we both shoot, their bullets are going to hit me first before my bullets hit them, and that millisecond difference, sure, the average gamer is going to say, why does it matter? But to pros, that millisecond difference is the difference between me picking up a kill that allows my team to push through on this objective and ultimately win that match, or vice versa, where I hold a point and don't allow that team to come win that match. So it's when you have that much money on the line, that much progress as far as winning championships for a lot of these players, a lot of young players, it's these are their first events as far as the year goes, especially with the inaugural season of franchising. There's a lot of new rookie talent this year, so it's a bummer for sure. I mean, a lot of those guys, kind of like you mentioned at the beginning of your topic, they want these LAN environments because that's what they've been grinding for and waiting to turn 18 for, is these huge LAN environments that they've seen for the last 5 years that are exciting, a huge atmosphere, goosebump type atmosphere when you have all these fans here cheering you on. I mean, Champs is one of the biggest events as far as esport live entertainment in the US every year. I mean, you have obviously huge games as far as everything else goes between League and Rocket League, Overwatch, and all that. So, I mean, as far as actual population numbers, I'm not sure. But, I mean, seeing Champs, having attended LAN events ourselves, being in that environment, there's nothing like it compared to just playing online in your bedroom at home. So, I think it's another tough situation, which is just we're finding that the year 2020 and COVID is just a tough situation because there's no way to win. There's no way to make everyone happy, whether it's physical sports, esports, just even working, going to work, anything like that. It's there's going to be pros and cons to both sides. And at the end of the day, and I think it's good at the end of the day that most companies and most sports and everything like that are erring on the side of we need to be cautious, we need to be responsible. Obviously we're all losing money and losing integrity as far as our sports go or whatever, but, we need to make sure everyone is safe at the end of the day and everything there. So, I mean, they're obviously still going to hold the event. Players are still going to play because they're contracted to. You're going to get the complaining. It's going to happen. And then, whoever wins is going to get a lot of flack of, oh, it doesn't matter, this is online, you're not a champ, blah blah blah.
It's going to be toxic regardless is the
Yeah.
biggest problem. And that's the challenge that everyone runs into in this situation is you can't not hold champs, or even if you were going to postpone it, we don't know how long COVID is going to last. And if it goes through the fall and the next Call of Duty comes out and you've been trying to postpone champs for MW,
Right.
then what are you going to do? Then that's a $3 million prize pool that you were going to be competing for. And you don't even have a shot at tasting any of that money or winning a ring because you decided, hey, maybe we should just postpone it. And that's not an option to a lot of these players at this point. As you mentioned, the younger players, 18, 19, 20 years old, where this is their first shot to go for it and win a tournament and play for money, they're going to want to do that no matter what the situation, what the circumstances are. But the Call of Duty League, they're trying to do as much as they can to make the event and champs as good as they can for all the players and everyone involved in the league. And like you mentioned, there's nothing like being on LAN. If I'm playing right now, there's absolutely no one around me. If I pick up a 3-piece to win a 1v3 in Search and Destroy, we're just in our Discord and we all go, let's go, baby. If you're on the main stage in front of an arena full of people, the fans are getting out of their seats, going absolutely insane, rooting for you. And you stand up out of your station, you're like, give it to me, give me more. And that, it's a momentum sport. Call of Duty is a momentum esport. You hear that, you can start to trash talk across the arena to the other guys, and you know that you're locked in for the remainder of the game. You don't get that kind of feeling if you're online, but the Call of Duty League is doing everything they can to make it possible to hold this event still. So a few things that they've put into place, because there have been a lot of speculations of cheating and players being dishonest throughout the season of the CDL that has been held online. So I think the biggest one has been the Cronus Max, or the newest Cronus, the Eon or Neon. I don't even know what it's called. But basically, it's a USB device that players can plug into their PS4 and allow you to use like any controller. But the difference with this one is it controls recoil for you. Dude, so hacks big time. So as a player, you take your controller, I go and aim at a guy. The recoil pattern of, say, the M4 is it shoots up and to the right. So I have to control with my right stick. I have to pull down and to the left to stay on my opponent's head. If I have this Cronus, I can just aim at the guy and pull the right trigger, and it'll hold the recoil pattern for me. So there have been accusations that players have been using those devices to get an upper hand, which is by far illegal. So what the CDL has put in place for the rest of the season, they've sent every player a camera for their setup. So officials of the CDL will be able to look into players' controllers, PS4s, and monitors, and like around their room to see and make sure that these players are not cheating. And then the other thing that they're trying to do to make champs as good as they possibly can, there's no way it's going to be perfect. There's absolutely no way it is going to hold up and live up to the expectations that a LAN event would. So being online, what they've done in the past throughout the season, I think they've had 9 servers and they test them out, and the teams veto and choose the best 3 that they would want to like have to be played on. And then now they're boosting it up. I think it was so instead of 3 veto options, they're moving it to where they get 5 veto options now. So it just broadens the spectrum of what they have. But Scump, he was talking about it in his Twitch stream the other day. And this is where we talked about players being locally based and where they're living is, if players are playing the Chicago Huntsmen, they basically have an upper hand because they're going to veto the Texas server because that's where most of the Huntsmen player play. And then the next closest server that they're going to play on is probably in Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest or East Coast, which puts the Huntsmen at a disadvantage. I'm just using them for an example because, like we mentioned, 4 players in Texas, the 5th one is in LA or somewhere in California. The other team, who, if they have even 1 player based in Chicago, that 1 player is going to be on the server that they're playing on, and they can make the difference in the game because they have that upper hand. So it's a challenging situation all in all, and especially for the money that it's worth. I don't think you can postpone the tournament.
No.
I don't think you can not hold champs after holding every other tournament this year because it's these players' livelihood. Some of these players have maybe given up streaming so they could grind and scrim and be on a professional team. So it's literally their livelihood, and they're competing for that huge prize pool to make that money. So you can't cancel the tournament. I think the CDL, I think Adam Apicella and his team over at Esports Engine and all the upper management in the league, I think they're doing the best that they can. And I think I agree with the decision that was made, the player safety, as well as the folks and everyone that anyone will be in contact with, everyone working the event, and even their families at home. I think the safety comes first before the event being held on land. And I get it. I get the anger and frustration, but the players, but it is what it is. You got to deal with what you're kind of given. You have to, you're dealt those cards, and that's sort of how you have to play the game and try your best. So it's going to be frustrating. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about it, and it's going to go down in the history books as one of the weirdest things ever to not have COD champs on land.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's unfortunate, and it's the situation that we're all kind of in for the year, with just dealing with life and dealing with the way we have to kind of adapt and live in the midst of COVID and everything. I know a couple individuals that are, in the midst of all of this going on, have a little bit more of a bright side to their life right now. Some happy individuals that have one, made a lot of money. The other, some could say there's an insult in the type of contract he received. But the men that I'm talking about, one near and dear to my heart, not because I'm a fan of him from the past, but because he is now on the best team, I would say, over the last decade in the NFL.
Are we back on this train now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my man Tom Brady, but we picked up the man Cam Newton about a week ago for, like I said, a lot of people said disrespect in the contract he received, but I'm saying good deal. If he performs, great, and we have a lot more room for money then for the next couple seasons. But anyways, to get into it, you got Cam Newton signing with the Patriots on I believe it was the 28th, so a little over a week ago now. A 1-year deal, not a lot crazy going on. And then today, they were recording this actually on July 6th. You have Patrick Mahomes himself receiving the richest contract in American sports history as a 10-year extension with the New England, with the Kansas City Chiefs. Big money, a lot to unpack as far as details go. What do you think as far as both of those signings? I mean, exciting, not great. What do you think?
Patty Mahomes, my boy, is ready to post up in KC for a little bit of time now.
Long time.
Through 2031, I think, is the deal that it goes through. And then, first of all, before we get into any of that, I don't know, because I asked you, I said, Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. You a Buccaneers fan now? And you said, oh yeah, Buccaneers fan now. But now you got a player and you're back to the Patriots.
Hey,
I don't know. It's a little bit in question, your fandom, and you're definitely pushing the boundaries of loyalty here. But no, I think I actually called that, by the way. At first, when everything started going down in Carolina, when they disrespected Cam the way that they did, in my opinion, and he thinks the same thing with what he's posted on social media. I said, dude, I mean, if Tom's going bye-bye, Cam to New England, like collision course, it's going to happen. So I thought that was going to happen from the start. And then when nothing happened and he never got signed, I was like, man, is he like, who is he going to go to? What team is going to pick him up? And then, of course, when no one is expecting it in the middle of July, Belichick and Kraft are like, hey Cam Newton.
What's up, Cam?
Yeah, we get Cam Newton right now. It's been out of the news cycle for a while. Let's give SportsCenter something to talk about. So I think overall, I think he's a good quarterback. I mean, I think that the dual threat will be interesting to see how he integrates into the Patriots offense, seeing that they've had a pocket passer for eternity in Tom Brady. So maybe switching up the schemes gives them opportunities to change their sort of play style and the way that they call their offense. But I think at the end of the day, he's a good leader. His teammates in the past have had nothing but good things to say about him. He can sling it. He can run it. He's just got to stay healthy. I think that Cam is a good deal. And then Patrick Mahomes, I mean, it's pretty clear and obvious that he's, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. He definitely believes, or I definitely believe that he deserves that contract.
Yeah, before I dig into Patty Mahomes a little too much here, speaking to Cam, I think it's something that, it's Bill Belichick to a T. Like it's a former MVP. It was the 2015 NFL MVP. A lot of players. I saw Richard Sherman saying like his contract's a disgrace, like all this, and it's like. It's something.
Leave it to Sherman to say something about someone else's money.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, I mean, it's one of those things that I think Cam, if he's gonna step back and just examine his career over the last couple seasons, it's like he's definitely underperformed for who he is, his talent level. And so that's why I'm the most excited about it, because it's to me it's a 1-year deal. It's only $550,000 guaranteed, which is insane to think about. Like former NFL MVP, the talent and attributes he has, $550 guaranteed. Max value is $7.5 million for a 1-year deal, but it's like literally like $5.75 of that is all incentive based. So it's like game bonuses, other incentives, yards, touchdowns, whatever, game wins, playoffs, all that stuff. So it's like if he has a great season and hits that money and we pay him that money, that means the team's had a great season and they're in the playoffs, they're doing well. So it's like, to me, it's a great value. Obviously they had a guy in Stidham that they were, excited, I guess you could say, about. But I mean, Belichick he'd always mentioned before this offseason really started that there was the strong possibility they would sign a veteran quarterback to have somebody either help mentor him or ultimately start for them this season. So, I'm excited about Cam. Like you were saying, it's definitely a different style of quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see what McDaniels does with Cam. I think they have a lot of flexibility in their offensive weapons as far as the receivers and running backs go to make it interesting with Cam. So it's going to be awesome, I think, to see what they do. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, I saw it today when it came across, at first there was no money attached to it. I just saw Patrick Mahomes signs 10-year extension with the Chiefs, and I was like, what? Like, 10-year deal in the NFL? Like, unprecedented. Like, never happened before. And the money is just crazy. So, $450 million, $140 million is injury guaranteed, meaning that's pretty much his guaranteed money. So, $140 million. Out the door, easy. I think Patrick Mahomes, like you said, is a generational talent. I think he's going to be the face, if not one of the faces of the NFL for the next decade. So, I think it's a smart move by Kansas City. I think one thing that a lot of people are saying, though, is that great to lock him down, but now they have all that money tied up for the next decade. And so how much flexibility are they going to have over these next 3-4 year cycles of player talent, running backs especially, how are they going to be able to continue to have the pieces to take full advantage of the talent that is Patrick Mahomes? So like, obviously great quarterbacks are going to make other surrounding players around them lift them up and make them better, which he definitely does. But it'll be interesting to see if they can continue to maintain and field a team that is championship caliber ready as some of these contracts end on their high profile players. I'm not familiar with all of their contracts, so I'm not sure. But guys like Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, what's their running back's name right now? I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure.
I feel like they've been through a few running backs.
Is it
like
Damian Williams? Is it? No, I don't know. I'm pretty sure whoever the running back is right now, he's on his rookie contract still. So like he's someone that they're gonna have to sign. So they have a lot of things I think they're gonna have to worry about over the next coming seasons. Did you look it up? Who is it?
Damian Williams, is what I'm seeing here. But I mean, in the NFL, I think we've learned that the running back is a pretty disposable position unless you're Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's one of those things that's like if you have a guy that's reliable, like a Christian McCaffrey, like Derrick Henry, like Zeke Elliott, someone that is going to perform and put up numbers, and if you don't have the liquid money or the money in the cap to be able to lock those guys in during their prime and they go somewhere else, like if that's the type of player they're going to be as far as their contracts and stuff, like I don't know. I think it's just playing devil's advocate, I think it's a great sign. I think they want to
Yeah.
keep Mahomes in Kansas City for his entire career. They'd be stupid not to.
Right.
But it's just, they definitely made a statement with this contract that he ain't going nowhere. He had 2 years left on his current deal. I think he was owed somewhere around like $27 million on the remainder of his contract over the last 2 years. So, got a fat raise as far as his money is concerned on a per year basis. And he's a chief for life. So, I mean, I think it's a great sign. I just think it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens over the next 5-10 years as far as player turnover, if it does cause them issues, if they lose some players to free agency and stuff like that. But I think it's exciting. The young talent is very exciting to watch. You got Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. I think those are going to be
Lamar
the two
Jackson.
guys. Lamar Jackson, yeah. I have harsh feelings towards him because they beat the Patriots in the playoffs. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. I think that the NFL is kind of at that point now where it's a generational turnover. You're seeing a lot of the young talent come up, a lot of the older talent, and Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers isn't quite up there yet. Guys like Phillip Rivers, all those guys are transitioning teams like you tend to see happen towards the end of their careers. And now you have all these new staples in their roles for these teams that are young that are going to be there for the next 5 or 10 years. So it'll be interesting to see too if teams follow suit in this type of deal for quarterbacks and for other positions. I mean, it's a deal, like I said, that's never happened before as far as the duration. I mean, the most duration you typically see in football is 5 or 6 years as far as a deal is concerned. So I can't imagine many teams are going to be willing to shell out 10-year deals to players, but it's going to be something that is fun to watch, and it's exciting news for sure during this kind of slow time of sports going on right now.
I think to go back to running backs being disposable, and then you talked about so much money is being tied down by Mahomes and building around him.
Mm-hmm.
The proof is in the pudding in the NFL. You got to look literally inside your own franchise. Look at the Patriots. Tom Brady, 6 rings. Who has he had? Sony Michel, James White, LeGarrette Blount. None of them have been like ginormous names. They've been made because they score those touchdowns that Tom Brady builds the drive off and then hits them on a screen pass, or the defense is only expecting Brady to throw, so then they run the option or hit him with a draw play or a counter, and then it's a wide open lane. And then on top of that, he's done it with no-name receivers plenty of times, and all you have to do for Patrick Mahomes, give him someone fast who is reliable enough to catch the ball. We know he has the scrambling ability to be able to create a play. If he has a defensive end on him, he'll be able to make a quick shoulder turn or a spin move, buy himself some time, buy his receivers time downfield to be able to get open and find an open target. So I think that's where the money is being invested so well, is for his ability to create plays off his feet, but also the pure arm talent that Mahomes has and the throws we've seen him make, the no-look throws, cross body. So I think that building the foundation around him was so important, and locking him down. I think he loves everything he has there with Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, that whole team right now, obviously coming off a Super Bowl victory. I mean, how could you not be riding high? So I think at the end of the day, I think it's insane money because, it beats, like we've said, Mike Trout of $426.5 million, his contract in Major League Baseball. So to hear a football player get paid that is unheard of. But I think it will be money well spent at the end of the day, and that the Chiefs are a force to be reckoned with for a long time. So that's sort of the closure on all the money being spent these past couple of days. I wish I could spend that much money on something. So good for those teams. But other news in sports, and I think maybe the biggest story of the weekend, whatever you want to call it, like you said, we're recording this on Monday, July 6th, but the man himself, the true GOAT, absolutely destroys Tom Brady and Michael Jordan combined 10 rings. The man himself, Jaws Joey Chestnut, hit the 4-peat in the 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It's his 13th career yellow belt, and it's just absolutely incredible what the man can do. 10 minutes, sucked down 75 hot dogs and buns. I mean, This guy is insane. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now, but look at the calorie count, all the sodium, the fat, everything he
Oh, the good
consumed
stuff, man.
in 10 minutes. I mean, double dogging it, triple dogging it, dunking the buns, doing everything that he could, beat his previous record of 74. The man is an absolute legend. 75 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. But I mean, at the same time, you cannot discredit Mickey Sudo in the women's division of the hot dog eating competition. Broke the women's record, 48 and a half dogs and buns in 10 minutes as well. So it was a record setting 4th of July. Man, it was absolutely insane. Joey Chestnut, Mickey Sudo, hats off to you, even though I'm not wearing one. Absolutely incredible, the talent that both of you have.
Yeah, it's a staple of Fourth of July for me. I mean, every year I wake up and I know at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. on our side of town. I can pop it on and watch a hot dog eating contest. So, I mean, it's fun. I think it's a great competition. It's good as far as like American morale, if you will. I mean, it's something that is fun to look forward to every year. I have no idea how it's humanly possible. I can't understand or wrap my mind around the competitive eating world. You see all these videos of these guys eating so much stuff, and it's just like, how is that even possible? But yeah, I mean, it's something that is fun to watch, and I was excited for sure. I mean, really, other than that, there wasn't much else I feel like that went on too much during the kind of week and a half or so between our episodes here. I mean, baseball came back a little bit. They started reporting to their camps. I mean, I think just to touch on that really quickly, you had the first round of COVID testing, which was pretty, I would say, positive as far as the results that came back. I mean, they had about 3,200 players tested, players and staff tested, and only 38 positive tests came back. So it was only a 1.2% positive result as far as COVID was concerned. So that was encouraging as far as the light at the end of the tunnel of hopefully we're seeing some sports played soon. There's still a lot of time to go before they start playing, and then once they start playing, what happens? A lot of big players have already opted out as well. Mike Leake, as far as not a huge player, but he's a Diamondback here, but he was the first one to actually kind of start that ball of opting out for the season. And then you had guys like Ryan Zimmerman, Ian Desmond, David Price, Nick Markakis. All of them have opted out for the season already. And then you have other big names like who we've mentioned over the past few episodes just for contract and money reasons, but Mike Trout has already kind of vocalized his opinion about should we play the season at all? Am I going to opt out? He has a pregnant wife right now. So, I mean, he's, obviously putting their safety and health above everything. So a lot to figure out, a lot to kind of learn and go through as the season approaches. I mean, I haven't heard anything as far as delaying the July 24th start date as far as opening day for them yet. With the way it seems, at least, that the players have been able to isolate and contain themselves and be responsible, it seems, hopefully, having the amount of tests they had and only having the 38 positive results is encouraging. But we'll kind of see what happens there. I'm hoping, I'm being kind of optimistic that they'll be able to figure it out, and we'll see, too, as the NBA gets closer with their bubble situation, if they can figure it out. And just kind of have this experiment of can we make this work? Can we provide this, source of entertainment for America that's been lacking for the last 4 months since all of this has been going on? So interesting to see, but we'll kind of just have to see what happens with baseball and everything else here over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, one day at a time is how I think everyone has to take it. And if new news comes out and just the constant testing, but I mean, I understand the concerns between all the players, especially someone like Mike Trout, who has those familial concerns with his wife being pregnant. When you get far enough along, immunocompromised, possibly, weakened immune system, you're carrying a second human life. So there's two of you for your immune system to fight and take care of. So understand the concerns, and it'll be interesting to see if more and more players sort of come forward and think to themselves, maybe I should sit this one out. Maybe I don't know if this is safe. I don't know if I want to do this. And a lot of it could be based on personal beliefs, agendas, protecting your family, what you feel is best, I think is the most important at this point to to continue to sort of keep player safety and everyone in the chain reaction of effect that you come along with keeping them safe as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I think we've kind of hit all of that. For the last few episodes, I know we talked about baseball a lot because the last episode was when they had agreed and announced with their season that they were coming back with. So, it's just kind of one of those things. I think as the general public, we're going to have to sit back and observe and trust the leadership in these different divisions and leagues and sports to do what's best as far as, health and safety goes. We'll kind of see what comes of that. But other than that, I think we've kind of touched on the big topics. I think we felt that we kind of had missed over these last week and a half in between our episodes here. So as always, we want to touch on the streamer of the week that we have this week. I know it's a guy that we're obviously both very familiar with in who he is, what he does. He's kind of more part of your world as far as what you're familiar with as far as on-air talent, broadcasting, all that stuff. So give me a breakdown of who we got this week.
Oh, so excited to announce this streamer of the week. And this is by far one of my favorite segments that we're doing, if not my favorite segment that we have on the show here, because it just spreads so much positivity and love throughout the community, and everyone kind of shows up and moves into these people's and these streamers chats and starts to watch them. And I think it's really cool that we're able to help grow the community. But the small streamer of the week this week is my man Merc, Joey D. So Joe DeLuca is his name, but his alias that he will be streaming under is twitch.tv/Merc, M-E-R-K. You can find him on Twitter, Joe DeLuca. So if you don't know who Merc is, he streams a lot. He's part of the Break Time Boys. So that was the squad discovered between him, TP, Maven, and Crowder. So the roots of Merc, he started off, he's one of the GOATs within the Call of Duty original community of being a player. So he had a very prominent career throughout Call of Duty. He was an extremely talented player and had a lot of success throughout Modern Warfare 3, Ghost, Black Ops 2 was sort of his prime when he won tournaments. So notable teams that he was on, Optic Gaming and Team Envy is where he did a lot of his winning. So got to shout him out. He's been streaming Warzone a lot lately because as of now, he's on-air talent for the Call of Duty League. So him and Maven are kind of the dynamic duo, if you will. So if you see, Jim Nance, Tony Romo, they got that kind of synergy going between Maven and Merc. So you'll see him casting matches. And we talked about earlier in the show, COD Champs just around the corner. There's a few more home series. I think the New York Subliners have theirs this week, and that's something that I'll be tuning into. But Joe DeLuca, Merc, man, such a fun streamer, and he'll be real with you all the time. He'll go out, he'll pick up a 3-piece and just be like, yeah, I just destroyed you. You're absolutely trash, kid. And he's dropped the 30 bombs, the 40 bombs, consistent 20 bombs, always winning. So he has a nasty shot. I mean, all the way since Blackout, he's been a Battle Royale fanatic. And I mean, he has the roots in Call of Duty, played competitive, has the drive, has the passion, and it shows. So you got to check him out. Twitch.tv/Merc and Joe DeLuca on Twitter. Absolutely nasty at the game. Prominent career throughout Call of Duty, and there's not enough good stuff we can say about Merc.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's a staple of the Call of Duty scene for several years. I mean, I don't remember if it was Nick or Nick Merckx or someone else, but he posted a squad scoreboard the other day where he had, I think, 41 kills for the team, and someone replied to him, it might have been Nick, but I'm not sure, saying like, I'm glad you're casting these Nick Merckx tournaments and not playing in them because, dude, he's nasty. I mean, he brings the heat every game. I mean, it's something that, I feel like all these guys, they've been playing Call of Duty for a decade plus, and, so it's like if you have the gun skill, once you learn the game, they're just going to continue to dominate each game until something changes to where they can't hang with the young guns anymore for some reason.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he's nasty, definitely a cool guy, really low key, pretty chill, more, laid back as far as streams go. Doesn't, keep it quiet when he gets hype in those moments, but it's definitely kind of a mellow stream, which is kind of nice to have as well as an option for viewing and everything. So yeah, I would definitely say to check him out for sure.
Everyone go take a look. Again, that's twitch.tv/Merc. Tune in, show some love, type in the chat. He's always one of those content creators and streamers that is involved with his chat. So those are some of the most fun streams to be in for me. And I think that is something that he brings to the table. It's a community. You have that feeling of being part of something, and it's super exciting. So that is our streamer of the week. Now time to move along to our other favorite segment, and that is the clip of the week. This week, it comes from our man, True Edits. You should, if you don't know him when he's actually playing, you should know a lot of the work he does behind the scenes. One of the big editors for Symphony, NRG, he works with TST. So you'll see a lot of the edits from the Huntsman and the CDL. He's a part of those. So this one actually, though, it's not one of his edits. It's actually one of his clips that he was playing in. It's one of the games that you're more familiar with and love to play, Sea of Thieves. He had his mind on some loot, and he made a nasty play here to go get one of the Ashen Athena chests. So make sure you check out this clip and give some love to our boy True Edits.
Am I good to jump to him?
Yeah. Go for it. I got this.
I have the Athena. I'm dipping in the rowboat.
Go. What the fuck? I couldn't pull my fucking...
He's almost sunk. Doesn't see me yet. Still doesn't see me. He's just rowing.
Yeah, it's a crazy clip, and just the fact of all the mechanics that go into that clip. So I'm sure a lot of people aren't as familiar with Sea of Thieves. It's a really fun game, actually. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Open world based kind of pirate looter shooter type game. But yeah, so he loads himself into the cannon of their ship and launches himself via the cannon onto the enemy ship, directly onto the mast, which is insane to me that they timed that out. So he hits the mast because he does not take any damage or anything like that. Slides down the mast, grabs the Athena chest, and then a lot of times better players will attach a rowboat to the back of their boat so they can be able to kind of maneuver a little bit easier along islands and things like that. So he takes the chest, steals the rowboat, rows off, and you can hear him saying at the end of the clip, he doesn't even know yet. He's just rowing still. He has no idea. And so, dude, I mean, loot grabbing is the funnest thing to do in Sea of Thieves. I mean, a huge guy that has done it for a long time that's very popular is Summit. I mean, he does a lot of Sea of Thieves streams. He goes in spurts when he loves to play the game, but I mean, watching him and his crew do that is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, True Edits, like you mentioned, he does a lot of behind the scenes work for a lot of the big names out there. So yeah, definitely, check out the clip, give him some love on Twitch as well. It's one of those things. He plays a lot of Sea of Thieves, so if you want to check out that game and see someone play the game at a high level, definitely check him out. Definitely a guy that is fun to watch.
True Edits, reigning in the clip of the week, looking almost a little bit like Captain Jack Sparrow there, Pirates of the Caribbean. Gotta give it to him. Yeah, like Witness said, make sure you check him out. Don't forget about Merc, Streamer of the Week, Clip of the Week, and make sure that you guys are taking part in this too. Send in your clips to me or Witness at zhack16 on Twitter, or X Witness Live X. Shoot us anything. Doesn't matter what game you play, what it is, if it's funny, if it's an insane play. We want to see it. Send it to us. Get involved to have your chance to be featured here. So make sure you guys are getting involved in that. And also, once again, before we head out of here, we just want to say thank you so much for the love that you guys are showing. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. The Z-Hack and Witness Show is where you can find us there. Maybe you're watching us right now. If not, you're in the car. You want to, a little bit entertainment on the way to work. You're going on a road trip. Spotify and Apple Podcast, the Z-Hack and Witness Show as well. But thank you so much for tuning in again this week to episode number 4. Always a blast, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much. Episode 4 in the books. Peace.
Later.